Call 888-292-6908.
You can have your own party on TV. Party with R.J. Watkins and the TV 33 family when you hold your own Facebook watch party. Connect all your friends with our friends, and we can have a watch party together. Watch your favorite TV shows when you want, how you want, with your favorite people. Here's how it works. Log on to Facebook from your computer or tablet and go to the R.J. Watkins fan page at facebook.com/TV33WHPR, the one with the blue WHPR logo on the left. Like us. Click the word videos with the red tag that says live next to it. Then click the share button at the bottom of the video player and select start a watch party. Invite whoever you want. Your party will be recorded and archived for playback anytime you want. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. At the end of the month, the viewer that has the most people at their watch party will be invited on the TV show live. Come on, let's have a party.
After receiving a delinquent property tax bill for the 2 lots connected to my home, I was concerned. I didn't even know that I had a past due bill. I went down to the Wayne County Treasurer's office, and the staff worked with me to keep my property out of foreclosure.
My property taxes became delinquent after I fell behind on my bills. Treasurer Sabri and his staff came to the town hall in my city and provided information about resources available to help me. At the meeting, I found out about payment plan options.
Let us help you. Our goal is 0 owner-occupied properties getting foreclosed and going to the auction. Come down to our office at 400 Monroe in downtown Detroit on the 5th floor. Call 313-224-5990 during our normal business hours from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and until 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays. Or email textinfo@waynecounty.com for assistance. Take the first step. Contact our office today.
It worked for us.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Amazing morning to you. Rise and shine up and at 'em. It's a phenomenal new day. You're officially tuned into Coffee and Conversation with Colette, and I'm Colette. And y'all know I do my curtsy. That's what I do to show reverence to you, because I know that you could be anywhere, and I know that trying to engage in your day, not even trying, doing, it's a willing, it's movement, action, that you are doing that. And a part of that dialogue is to make sure you see I have to flip my hair up. I know y'all just saw me the hour before and it was dark, and so now you see me, because that's what we do. We have to switch it up. That's what we do. So I know that you could be preparing for our conversation, and you know that our conversations are going to matter. But before I get into that, I want to do a quick housekeeping announcement, if you will. There's an exclusive premiere event, John Wins, Mirror Mirror. You can get your tickets now. It's going to be August the 20th at the AMC Forum 30. That's on Mound Road in Sterling Heights. And Mirror Mirror, you can get more information about it. The subtitle says, "You can't," what's it say now? "Unsee your truth." Nice. Very attractive, very interesting. It looks like it's suspenseful. Very excited about it, everyone. Go to www.JohnWinsMirror.com. So it's John Wins with an S, Mirror Mirror. To get more information, that's compliments of our own Theo Broden. and you can follow up with that because, that's what we do. We support each other in all of our ventures and the like, so it is a pleasure to be able to introduce that to you before we engage in our conversation on today. So let me just tell you, I've been in Baltimore. Thank you all for reaching out to me. Thank you, everyone, for continued support of course, it's amazing station, WHPS TV 33, or if you're watching us on Comcast 90, or Roku, or Facebook Live, or Fire Stick, whatever, however you reach us, because, that's what we do. We afford you various platform tools to be able to have conversations that matter, that we know on this station that will educate, enlighten, and empower you. And so I've been in Baltimore. And I had the pleasure of being the campaign manager for a mayoral candidate there, Carmichael Stokey Kennedy. Everyone, great, amazing morning to you. Phenomenal team in Baltimore. And let me just tell you, if you ever thought and questioned what was going on in Detroit and you thought you had it bad and you thought that the conditions were just deplorable and you ever wondered how you could figure it out, you need to go back east. You need to go back to Baltimore. But what I thought was so refreshing in the time that I was there is that no matter what the conditions and what the challenges of the conditions is that there's such a resilient people. And so they're clusters, they're groups. So like we're connected or we're separated by east side, west side, okay? So they all have east side, west side, but in that west side, it might be 20 different communities. That might literally, some might consist of 4 blocks. The Harlem West community consists of 72 blocks. So it's a variance of communities within that side of town, but they stick together. Can I say that again? That no matter what is going on, no matter what the challenges are, no matter how bad it looks, they stick together. And so I just believe, and I'm not just biased because he is my candidate, but I am under the notion, and I share with you all the time, that if you want to make this system work for you, the best way that you can make it work for you, specifically if you don't understand it, is to look at what people do and not what they say. Because so many times, and I always reference the book, and I presented it to us, we all know what I'm going to say, False Black Power, Jason Riley, Wall Street Journal, columnist and author, and the only group of people that gave their power away to the political process are black folk. I know you all saw in the news yesterday they were acknowledging the Holocaust and I forgot the umpteen years since this massive Holocaust and what that looked like for Jewish folks coming up out of Europe and the tragedies of that and the loss of that and the displacement of that and the actual taking of lives of that, and some 500,000 people perished at the hands of Hitler and the ideology and the regime. And there's always a remembrance of that. It's always people holding on to what that history is and that legacy is and not letting anyone forget what that is and collectively working to keep it together. A lot of you might say, well, Colette, that's not really fair, because even though their lives were taken based on one man, those who were able to flee still were able to flee free, and they were able to come over to America and still by choice and have their talents and their skills and still their familiar structure intact and the like. And you're correct. You're correct in all of that, not taking away any of that, but still the premise is understanding the importance of collectiveness, understanding who we are historically together. And then you all will say, well, Colette, no, because we were separated when we came over here, and so we don't know about us being together. But I would implore you that for the simple fact that you could have that dialogue with me, for the simple fact that you could think through that statement to be able to articulate it, means that you know that there's an importance in it. Do you follow me? So we can all say all day long that, oh, we didn't grow up with this and our structures were this and all of that. And I agree with all of that. But at the end of the day, if you know what you didn't have, then at what point, what is the onus on you to recreate it? Sometimes our most family, the closest people that we have, family might not be blood related. I mean, I have to tell you, in the midst of everything and preparing and structuring and launching a campaign office and getting all of that together, just being in the community and getting a feel for the community was the best time I've had in such a long time. just people being together. Like Friday night boxing with young people, going to be supportive, ball tournament for a charity. Like kickball, remember? Kickball? These are grown folk playing kickball to be able to raise money to be able to give back. And there's an ownership and there's a commitment to the city. It's a commitment that no matter what wherever I can go and what I can do on my own and all of those things, that I still choose us. I choose us to make us better. I choose us to be able to give my time and talents and expertise under what I understand this to be to make it better for us. And so I want us to have that premise and that mindset as we enter and usher into our conversation today. Because there was this really interesting piece. I was coming off the Holocaust, and I said, well, you know what, maybe I should talk about that today. Maybe I should ask us, do we have a comparative narrative from the Holocaust and the American slave? And then I realized, no, Colette, because that's simple, right? That's dealing with a symptom and not an issue. And you know that we're better than that. We're bigger than that. And so then I thought about what this piece is, and the New York Times has a segment, and actually it's full, it's in its entirety is going to be introduced in the New York Times Magazine on Sunday, but it's a piece about democracy in America. And I thought it was just most interesting because the title is what captured me. And I wanted to share it with you because I really want you to think about it, and I thought that it was so appropriate. They entitled it the 1619 Project. Let me share that with you, okay? The New York Times Magazine, the 1619 Project, and that's what it looks like, okay? And the subtitle for this piece is, America wasn't a democracy until Black Americans made it one. Is that not profound to you? I had to let it sink in, and let me give it to you again. America wasn't a democracy until Black Americans made it one. And I'm going to read to you specifically because I believe that I cannot paraphrase this as an adequate overview for this amazing work. So I'm going to read it to you. Indulge me, if you will. In August of 1619, a ship appeared on the horizon near Point Comfort, a coastal port in the British colony of Virginia. It carried more than 20 enslaved Africans who were sold to the colonists. America was not yet America, but it was the moment it began. No aspect of the country would be formed here has been untouched by the years of slavery that followed. On the 400th anniversary of this fateful moment, it is finally time to tell America's story truthfully. The 1619 Project is a major initiative from the Times. Its goal is to reframe American history and to place the consequences of slavery and the contributions of Black Americans at the very center of the story we tell ourselves about who we are as a country. The project begins with essays in this week's issue of the magazine, each examining different aspects of contemporary American life from Wall Street to healthcare that have their roots in slavery and its aftermath. As Nicole Hannah-Jones writes in her essay, quote, without the idealistic, strenuous, and patriotic efforts of Black Americans, our democracy today would most likely look very different. It might not be democracy at all. And so I was moved by that. That America would not be a democracy if it weren't for Black folk. And as we enter into all these election cycles, as we proudly embrace this democratic oath, as we claim that we're Democrats, as we usher in our protest and our lobbying, all under the efforts of being a democracy, we have to really ask ourselves if we really are a democracy. Is it a great ideology that has never proven itself to be true, and maybe the mantra of that 10th percentile that gains all the wealth, that assumes all the profits, that owns all the properties, continuously dangles that carrot for us because we consistently chase after something that was given to us? And I just want you all to stay right there with me, because in the conversations that I've had over the last several days, I had to really give the group this ideology that the truth of the matter is, everything that we do was told and given to us. We are not functioning, the majority of us, under any original thought. So how we govern ourselves is given to us. So imagine that we're following the same rules and protocol that the oppressor created for our everyday interactions. We do the same things expecting a different result. We read the books and everything that they publish and say, oh, this is how politics should be. Oh, this is what a candidate should look like. Oh, this is what the pedigree is that a candidate should have. Oh, this is what the educational system should look like. Oh, this is what our employment spaces should look like. Oh, this is how we structure our families and what the 2.5 kids and the dog and the house should look like. Oh, who is creating those narratives for us that we follow to the T? And I'll give you religion. Who creates the dogma and the ideology of how we are supposed to reverence religion in our lives? Not spirituality, not a connection with the higher being, whether a God or Allah, not that, but religion and how it plays the role in who we are and how we govern ourselves and what we look at. We can look at the Vatican and say Catholicism and what that looks like and how it shapes the role of how people who follow the Pope and follow Catholicism and are Catholic and how they look at all the injustices or things that are happening. Or the business of the Pope and the Catholic Church in its ownership and monies and revenue across this world. And then its influence as they go in and talk to heads of state and the like. But we don't question that because we don't think that. Because we're not taught to think. And so I'm just asking us today, in this midst of looking at and assessing what democracy looks like, I want us to delve into that. I want to give you the definition of democracy. It is a noun. One, a system of governance by a whole population or an eligible or all the eligible members of state, typically through elected representatives. Some synonyms: representative, government, elective government, constitutional government, popular government, or control of an organization or group by a majority of its members. Democracy. America wouldn't be a democracy if it weren't for black folk, slaves. We started the history of America and the ideology of the conversation that controls us today. But let me tell you what Benito Mussolini said. Democracy is talking itself to death. Let me get this again. Democracy is talking itself to death. The people do not know what they want. They do not know what is best for them. There is too much foolishness, too much lost motion. I have stopped the talk and the nonsense. I'm a man of action. Democracy is beautiful in theory. In practice, it is a fallacy. You in America will see that someday. Benito Mussolini. Let me give that one more again. I want that to sink in before we go to the clip. And callers, I see you. Democracy is talking itself to death. Kind of notice that, huh? The people do not know what they want. They do not know what is the best for them. There is too much foolishness, too much lost motion. I have stopped the talk and the nonsense. I'm a man of action. Democracy is beautiful in theory. In practice, it is a fallacy. You in America will see that someday. And you all know that Benito Amilcar Andrea Mussolini, who went by the name Deuce, the leader, was an Italian dictator who created the Fascist Party in 1919 and eventually held all the power in Italy as the country's prime minister from 1922 until 1943. And so are we living in this fallacy, this great ideology, this notion that democracy will sway itself? It is a living, breathing entity that will change the dynamics of how we live every day. But we don't honor those truths of how we got here. But the New York Times was brave enough to do a piece that honors the legacy, the 400 years of the establishment of these Americas that were on the backs of black folk, on the backs of African slaves. So how do we work into a space and really understand if the governance is meant for us if we don't honor what the history is? You see where I'm going? But there's some of us who might believe different. And if you don't understand what that looks like, let me go to a clip. Let us do that. And callers, I see you. Hold on for me for a second. I'm going to get to everybody. This starts our conversation as we usher in our Friday talk as well. But we're going to go to the history of the black vote and what it means for 2020. So if indeed we understand that America was established by African slaves, that there wouldn't be this notion of giving someone something better if it weren't for African slaves that were already separated, but the labor and the toil and the lives lost created the wealth that we have in America. If indeed we don't understand all that to be true and the system of governance was created to support those conceptually who are downtrodden, who are less than, who are disenfranchised, who are perceived to be based on all the things that were created by this controlling group, this is how we got here today. So maybe I need to show you what it looks like for us as we usher in this 2020 electorate and what our real role is if we understood what it is that we were up against, if we knew what we wanted, if we were clear to be able to hold ourselves accountable and then to be able to look at someone else realistically to see how they could meet our needs under governance. I know I'm going a lot of places this morning with you. I know it's a lot. But I want you just to soak it all in. I just pray that that is my prayer always when I open up this show prior to coming on to speak with you, that you have a mindset that receives this because it's very different. I know that it's very different than what we're taught, but we're taught by folks who oppress us. So how could our mindsets ever be for freedom, a true freedom, an awakening, if everything that we were given and supposed to regurgitate was given by people who want to control? So in that vein, in my understanding of that, and as I share that with us today, let's take a look at the clip. MSNBC or NBC News did a clip, the history of the black vote.
In 2020, we think that at least 1 out of every 4 votes that are cast in the Democratic primaries for president are going to come from black voters. It's very possible that will be the highest number we've ever seen before. It's very possible we will look back at 2020 and say the black vote was never more important than in 2020. To put this in some context, we've put together here something I think is very interesting. Exit polls starting in 1976 from past Democratic presidential primaries. 1976 was basically the first year that media outlets like NBC began sponsoring these primary exit polls, you know, whether it's the New York primary, the New Hampshire primary, the Florida primary. And so we have a record. That record, though, a lot of it has been buried. We have been able to resurface, we think, every primary since 1976 on the Democratic side where there has been a significant black vote in that primary and where an exit poll was conducted. We found it. We've put it all together here, and you get a look here at how the black vote has gone in each one of these competitive Democratic races. And a couple of things stand out. Number one is just there has been a slow but steady progression in that time, really, 40-plus years right now. You can point to 2 really kind of specific events. Number one came back in the 1980s. It was in the 1980s twice, in the 84 campaign and again in the 88 campaign, where Jesse Jackson, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, launched full-fledged national presidential campaigns in the Democratic primaries. And he said in 1984 that one of his goals in that campaign was to register millions of new black voters to get them voting in the Democratic primaries. And he did. You can see that in this data. And then you see it jump again about 20 years later, and that's when Barack Obama wins. When Barack Obama becomes president in 2008, and then through his presidency, you see this kind of sorting out of the 2 parties, white working class voters, blue-collar white voters who had in the past maybe been Democrats. They've migrated more towards the Republican Party, and the Democratic Party, the role of black voters, the role of non-white voters in the Democratic Party increased from basically the moment that Obama became president there. So you can go back, you can look at any individual campaign. You can see Bill Clinton in 1992, Al Gore in 2000, John Kerry in 2004, Hillary Clinton in 2016. These are white candidates who appealed to black voters, made overwhelming support from black voters in the primaries, a key part of their victory strategies. You can see Barack Obama the first successful black presidential candidate who combined overwhelming support from black voters in 2008, basically about 80% support from black voters, with strong support from white voters, enough to win the Democratic nomination, enough to become ultimately President of the United States. So go take a look at the data. Go figure out what the story was in any one of these individual campaigns. I love looking at the old data. I love looking at old stories. I think they end up being so relevant to the present day. I think you will see the same thing. It is all there. As we head into 2020, I think you will see the story. There has been sort of that rising tide in the Democratic Party when it comes to the size, the clout, the power, the role of the black vote in Democratic presidential primaries. In 2020, it'll probably be more important than we have seen to date.
Did you understand that before it was shared? Did you understand the importance of our vote in America, period, our push for democracy, period, and specifically as it pertains to this upcoming election? We're not invisible. This is not the invisible man, Ralph Ellison. This is not the spooks that sat by the door, Samuel Greenlee. This is us, live and in color, reality, being able to take a hold of this perception of a democracy to really make it work for us. And so I guess that's my challenge for all of us, no matter where I find you and wherever we find ourselves, that we can always make lemonade out of lemons. But if you don't understand the system in which you've been put in, because all of us have been put in this. We've been put in the ideology of America. We've been put in what we are supposed to dream and aspire for and the like. We've been put in that space. We've been dropped in this. Since coming out of slavery, the only model that we had was that of the slave master, that we were supposed to work hard, get a good day's pay, earn a good wage. For those of us who could own, take care of our families, get our children a good education, and then we would propel from generation to generation. So I know you have some thoughts of that. And then W.B. Du Bois has some thoughts as well. We're going to go there, but I'm going to go to the lines first. Thanks for your patience. Great morning to you.
Oh, great morning to you. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you.
Very, very interesting, but look up the Devil's Punch Bowl in American concentration camp. So horrific, it was erased from history. I think we're still living in the bubble of illusions made by the 9% that controls the world. And the greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor are the oppressed minds. And if we're not busy trying to take control of economics, politics, structure, morals, and culture, then we'll continue in the world of tyranny. So
well, let me ask you this. Stay there for a minute.
Make up our mind.
Let me ask you this, because you are so enlightened, and I so appreciate you. But I want to know, in the spaces that you travel, in the engagements that you have, do you believe that we even know that we're not awakened? Don't laugh. Don't laugh. I'm serious.
It's not funny. It's horrific. It's horrific because, people will, because of the, I guess, generations and generations of the brainwashing, it's hard to talk to people because they will fight you tooth and nails. Even if you brought the, I beg people, I'd be like, listen to Hidden Colors, listen to Professor Smalls, listen to this, it's not me. This, even though sometimes yourself, the God in you, the God is in you, will tell you something's not right. There's a lot of things being said, but the action says something different. The mouth says one thing, but the action shows a totally different picture. The handwriting is on the wall every day, or how big or how small you really are. And until you get it into your mind what you can be and can do, you have to stop allowing the, like I said, the 9% that controls the world is controlling you. Through media, through the psychological warfare, through the chemical warfare, and all the other injustices that they use and they plant in your way. There's so many monkey wrenches that's keeping our people blinded and walking dead. I mean, when will we wake up and understand it's on us?
Well, you know what? And maybe you bring it to the forefront, and maybe I just need to put it out there for us. And the truth, and I know it's gonna be a problem, and I know you're all about to give it to me on this phone because I know it's coming.
No.
But I'm about to say it. Maybe the truth of the matter is they haven't told us what to do yet. So
yes,
they haven't told
you how to wake up.
Yes, they haven't told us how to wake up. So because we value so much of what they say, we don't emulate what they do. We just govern ourselves by what they say.
Yes.
And so because we govern ourselves by what they say, then we won't do any better for us until they tell us, oh, you all should be. And here's prime example. Donald Trump, President Trump, was talking bad mouth in Baltimore. Right? Bad mouthing. How can you all live in this rat-infested, garbage-torn city? No one would want to live there and the like. Okay. So because he said now it was nasty and carrying on, then now everybody else wants to come in and start trying to clean up because he said it.
Exactly.
But we've been so conditioned in that space that we should live in trash, we should live in filth, we should live in inadequate service, we should live in deplorable housing, we should live in blight, we should live in inadequate education, we should live in less than, we should live in not having grocery stores, we should live in, can I keep going? Should I keep going? So they've conditioned us, they've conditioned us to believe that that is all that we are worth, and that's all, and that's what we should expect to have. And it's better than when you were on the slave plantation. So you should be happy right now. And if you haven't amassed more, it's because you haven't pulled yourself up by the bootstraps. But how can you pull yourself up by the bootstraps when the bootstraps that you're pulling up are given to you? You bought the boots from the oppressor. So how are you going to be able to pull up the boots?
Continuing to live in your oppressor's land.
Right. The boots aren't going to ever fit you right. They're not ever going to fit you the way that they fit them because you keep trying to do it their way.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. You keep trying to do it their way, and where does that lead us? And how many years we got to sit up and wait for somebody else to tell us how great we were, how great we are, how we built up everything, how we've done all this stuff, but we're so afraid to live in that.
So afraid to exercise their greatness.
So maybe Mussolini wasn't wrong. And the truth of the matter is, we live in a dictatorship now. Y'all don't like this. We live in a dictatorship that's masked as a democracy.
That's right.
How you like that, everybody? Newsflash.
We're living in concentration camps, but we just can't see the fence all around us.
Come on. And you make a point. Get this. We live physically and mentally in concentration camps.
That's right.
So they don't ever have to. Remember, back on the plantation, they didn't have boundaries. There were no fences. There was no, people weren't on tethers. There weren't any brick walls, borders. It wasn't any of that. It was open, free land, but you had the fear of God in you that if you left, they was going to kill you, kill your kids, kill everybody. They bred that in you, so you just stayed captive. So how many of us physically stay captive in our spaces of deplorable conditions, still having our hand out to the same person that oppressed you, but it's masked itself in a different space? And then in our minds, even if you didn't remove yourself from that physical space, your mental space has held you captive.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's it in a nutshell. Thank you for always trying to awaken the sleeping giants.
I don't know what else to do.
I know it.
I guess that's why I just ask us, like, when I pray for these types of conversations and I get this type of information, I'm like, okay, God, I'm going to give this conversation, and I know if it offends people, and I understand if it does, but what else do we do? What else? I'm telling you all, I was in Baltimore. If you could take those Baltimore conditions and the people and put them here, they think that they were at Club Med. No, I mean, like you think, see, the difference that we'll say, oh, we'll go and there'll be blocks with no homes, right? It'll just be land. There, imagine you just have blocks of buildings that are there that are all dilapidated. It looks like a bomb just hit. So you have blocks and blocks of buildings that are all uninhabited. Some are boarded, some are clapped in, whatever. And there's no plan for development, no thoughts of development. It's a nomadic space, and everyone has been accustomed to the trauma. Let me just say that. And they know it, but what else do they do? Where else do they go? This is all that they know. And then they look at the rhetoric of the same politicians who are coming in saying, oh, I'm going to fix this for you if you vote for me, if you're going to do this. We do the same thing here. We do it in every urban and inner and rural area across this country. We do the same thing. We sit and hope that this time they're going to save us based on what they say.
You're waiting for the devils to put out the fires. I mean, and you continually run to these demons and ask them, please, baby, please. And all they do is keep you on your knees. And the 9% continue to dominate the world, and your thoughts and your moves from the womb to the tomb, they've already predicted your doom. But once again, if you don't get busy fighting for freedom, you will continue to suffer from tyranny. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you so much for calling. And so maybe to her point, the freedom that we're fighting for is the freedom of mind, like of the thought. Like, are you free? Like, just, and I know it might be radical, right? I get that, because it might go against everything that you were taught. Okay? I understand that. But just if you had, what does it say? The faith, the grain of a mustard seed? Just that one little inclination to say, maybe it's something else. Maybe I can be free by doing something else. Maybe I can look at this for what it is, figure out how to make it work for me. And then working for me means it works for us, because we share the information and we're not afraid. We don't live in fear. I want us to go to what W.E.B. Du Bois, let me just say, there was a piece, amazing piece in the Washington Post, and his fight for American democracy. And the subtitle is, with democracy in peril, Du Bois reminds us of the long fight to protect it. Now, if you all didn't know that he was probably one of the most accomplished African Americans in history. If you think about the era in which he grew up in and his experiences and what he was able to accomplish, let me share a couple of those things with you. He was the first African American to receive a Harvard doctorate. He authored 16 non-fictional works on the Black experience, 5 novels, 2 autobiographies, and countless articles and essays. His 1903 genre-defying book, The Souls of Black Folk, is considered an American classic. He co-founded the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People and shaped the course of the modern civil rights movement as editor of its journal, The Crisis. Scholar, activist, artist, and much more, he remains a singular figure in American history. And arguably, the author of this work states that the central thread of his life and work was the engagement with the potential of American democracy and the presence of the color line, which he prophesied in 1900 would be, quote, the problem of the 20th century. He was Black and proudly so, but he was also an American and understood that the unique gifts of Black folks sprung from their tortured experience in the United States. And the article goes on to talk about what those historical experiences have been and his shaping of imploring Black folk to fight for their right to be able to get something under this America that they created as identified as democracy. But there's a clip I want to share with you. Democratic Now, I believe, Democracy Now! Is the source of the clip. It's only a few minutes. Du Bois believed Black workers must lead the struggle for democracy. And in this clip, you'll see Anthony Monteiro on the 145th anniversary of the birth of Du Bois, and he looks at Du Bois' new views on racism, and the role of Black workers. And I believe that finds us right where we are right now. It's the same space, specifically for where we are in Detroit. We are the working class. we have sustained and maintained this community, this city. There's still the tale of two cities. We honor the legacy of our own Coleman Alexander Young, Honorable Mayor Coleman Alexander Young, and his premise to be able to develop a thriving downtown and also neighborhoods. But it seems something happened along the way. Wasn't there a song? And once you get to the boulevard, that 7.2 miles kind of stops off. And the downtown is thriving. It's a whole new world. And don't believe that we're alone, because it's the same thing in Baltimore. It's the same thing in all these urban enclaves in which they've created all these stadiums and all this nightlife and all this development and all these things to attract tourists and opportunities and monies and to create this space. But something happened along the way. And maybe truly understanding democracy, of the role that we play in the ideology of democracy, will cause us to do something different when we literally go and vote. Let's take a look at the conversation, and then we'll come back to talk more about it.
Welcome to the Real News Network. I'm Paul Jay in Baltimore. On February 23rd, it will be the 145th anniversary of the birth of W.E.B. Du Bois. He's been known as the father of the American Civil Rights Movement, the founder of Pan-Africanism, and a figure of both controversy and one of great, you could say, adulation. Now joining us to talk about the life of Du Bois and what he means to us today is Anthony Montero. He's a professor of African American Studies at Temple University in Philadelphia. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Paul.
So why, of many leaders in African American history, there's only a real few that have kind of lasted the century and still remained? It seems so relevant to today. Why is that true of Du Bois?
I think that's so because he contributed on multiple levels to African American struggles and to the transformation of America. He was this great scholar, the first person to get a PhD from Harvard, and he writes his dissertation on the transatlantic slave trade, and then he writes probably the first scientific work of urban sociology, the Philadelphia Negro, and then he goes on to found what is in the 20th century the first civil rights organization, the Niagara Movement. It is this tremendous intellectual and scholarly production that puts him on the map, but then on top of it, he is this unbelievable activist. Everything from civil rights to Pan-Africanism to labor rights and ultimately anti-imperialism and socialism. So he lives 95 years and he's productive for a good part of that time, and he's left a tremendous legacy and made a tremendous impact.
Let me first of all tell viewers, we're going to sometime in the next couple of months really work our way through the history of Du Bois and go through all the big beats of his life. Right now we're just going to focus on a few things in a couple of segments leading up to the anniversary of his birth. So talk about his split with Booker T. Washington and what that was about.
Yeah, that's an important split at the beginning of the 20th century. He really crystallizes it in one of the chapters in his famous book, The Souls of Black Folk. And he differed with Booker Washington on the issue of education, higher education in particular, whether or not the black college elite should be given a liberal education equal to that white elites were getting in the top white universities. But he also differed on the question of whether or not black folk should sacrifice civil rights and voting rights for the promise of support from Northern capital for economic and vocational training in the South.
Yeah, talk a bit about what this was actually codified in something called the Atlanta Compromise, right?
Oh yeah, the Atlanta Compromise speech, and Du Bois named it that. And it was this grand compromise that Booker T. Washington conceived. He said, look, the nation is not willing to grant us voting rights and civil rights, that is the North and South. were not prepared to live up to the promise of Reconstruction. So he said, look, let's forget that. The nation needed black labor in the past, and as it industrializes, it will need black labor in the future. And what we must do, and what black leadership must do, is to prepare black people for the coming industrialization and the need for labor that the future held. Du Bois believed, however, that the bargain cost black people too much, that we could not give up civil and political rights, that even if conceivably economic benefit would come from it, we could not defend those economic benefits unless we had the vote, unless we were full citizens, unless we had civil rights.
The Atlanta Compromise had actually accepted segregation as a legitimate thing. That was part of the deal, wasn't it?
And Booker Washington anticipated by about a year the Plessy v. Ferguson decision by the Supreme Court, which legalized and said it was constitutional to separate the races under the fiction of separate and equal. What it actually did, and I think Du Bois anticipated this, was to protect white privilege.
So Du Bois becomes a very public figure, if I understand it correctly, by the early 20th century. He's amongst a couple of the most well-known African Americans. And he, in fact, I guess next to Booker T. Washington, who he opposes. And is this, in many ways, the roots of the civil rights movement, then?
Oh, yes, it is. Because the path of Booker T. Washington was the path of denying or repudiating the struggle for civil rights, at least for the foreseeable future. The path that Du Bois and his followers adopt is the path of the fight for civil rights. So if, let us say, black folk had chosen in the 20th century, as we went forward, the path of Booker T. Washington, conceivably we would have never had a civil rights movement.
And do you see a reflection of Booker T. Washington type of interest and ideology today? Is there a reflection of that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I think among sections of the black middle class and petty bourgeoisie, there are strong resonances of Booker Washington. I argue that the race policies, if you want to call them that, of the Obama administration have more in common with Booker T. Washington's conceptualization of things than they do with either Du Bois or Martin Luther King or the civil rights movement of the 60s.
What's an example of that?
You take his State of the Union speech, where he talks about opportunity if you work hard. You take the example, which parallels this, of counseling black folk that what you need to do is clean up your cultural act, clean up your behavior, and then you will have greater opportunity for fitting in to the middle class and the opportunities that are afforded to it.
We'll work to strengthen families by removing the financial deterrence to marriage for low-income couples, and do more to encourage fatherhood. Because what makes you a man isn't the ability to conceive a child, it's having the courage to raise one.
This is neo-Booker T. Washingtonism. And what it does is the opposite of what Du Bois was doing in the Niagara movement, which was to question the color line and to point to the color line and racial disparity and racial inequality as the source of the problems that black people face. The Washingtonites and the Obamaites argue that the problems are not generated externally, but are rooted in the black community itself.
Yeah, you saw that within that back and forth with Reverend Wright. Then candidate Obama, I guess it was, more or less talked about being in a post-racial society, that somehow Reverend Wright was stuck in the past.
That's right. That's right. And that's the great Philadelphia speech that he gives in 2008 on race, which a lot of liberals and even progressives celebrated. But what it was a Booker T. Washington type of speech.
Well, this is just the beginning of a discussion about the life of Du Bois. So please join us for the next part of this interview with Anthony Montero on the Real News Network.
That was an amazing clip, so appreciative of Democracy Now! I hope that you got the gist of it. And I want to conclude with some couple paragraphs from the work that Chad Williams did in the Washington Post. He states, Donald Trump and what he has wrought are symptomatic of a deeper cancer of white supremacy that has been present in America since its founding. From the perspective of black folk, as Du Bois, as opposed to Du Bois, brilliantly and consistently demonstrated, democracy has always been in a state of crisis. Trump is both the mirror and our historic reckoning. As each day seemingly marks a continued erosion of our democracy, it is easy to be disillusioned. Du Bois died disillusioned, exiled from the land of his birth and treated as a political pariah. However, he continued to believe not in systems and parties, but in people. And he always maintained his faith in black people to live, love, and fight to make the democratic ideal of America a reality, a faith that inspires from the grave. And so that's what I share with us today. The same faith in the fight and the idea in us, that no matter what we are confronted with, our conversations aren't to make us disillusioned, but to create a reality and a beacon of light and an awakening that where we are right now, the truths of understanding that space, then that truth allows you to create an action plan to make it better for you, to make these moments matter, to make this life matter, not the whole adage that you have to die and go on to have this freedom. That you are Americans. We are Americans. And this is still the greatest nation to live in. And so the takeaway is that America wasn't a democracy until black Americans made it one. We are amazing. Your moments matter. The existence of who we are has created what we live in today. And what we do today will determine what our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren do and live in and are able to experience in this America long after we're gone. So I pray that you have been educated, enlightened, empowered, that something take away that has you to go, and to share something with someone and to be able to understand your purpose and your power. Don't give it away, everyone. You are uniquely you, defined and destined to walk in the steps to unleash your greatness. But it's an awakening that has to happen. And I pray that you are awakened. And the truth of the matter is, I'll do everything that I can to ensure that you are. So our time is up. Make the moments matter again. Make your day amazing. I look forward to seeing you bright and early tomorrow morning. We do have Eddie Treadwell in the building. He gifted me something amazing. I'm going to share that with you all on tomorrow. And we're going to have more conversation. So I look forward to seeing you then, bright and early, 7 a.m.
of the wicked west. For 400 years I toil and I strive, and now I'm a free man, and I'm calling Africa. Just where I came from. Oh yes, I'm going abroad overseas to a land that's calling me, yeah. I'm going there to see if it's truly a joyful place for me. Zimbabwe, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, the jungle's in my blood. The motherland is calling me. Keep calling. I hear you calling. You're the great. The jungle's in my blood. The motherland is calling me on. Oh, I'm homeward bound. My heart is Africa like a tom-tom drum. I'm alive, waking up from a deep sleep. Oh, I'm gonna catch me a plane and fly back home. Don't you know I've been longing to go? Africa, oh, I want you to know you're great. I hear you calling me, 1 billion brothers strong. Don't you know I'm coming home? Open the golden gate. I know I'm late, but I'm a long overdue.
Have you been in an accident? Have you been injured? Auto, motorcycle, bicycle, pedestrian, truck, bus accident, slip and fall, dog bite, wrongful death, or police brutality? Then you need professional help from Tri-County Lawyers. No fee unless we win. Tri-County Lawyers. Call 888-292-6908. That's 888-292-6908. Tri-County Lawyers. Call 888-2...
Friends, and we can have a watch party together. Watch your favorite TV shows when you want, how you want, with your favorite people. Here's how it works. Log on to Facebook from your computer or tablet and go to the RJ Watkins fan page at facebook.com/TV33WHPR, the one with the blue WHPR logo on the left. Like us. Click the word videos with the red tag that says live next to it. Then click the share button at the bottom of the video player and select start a watch party. Invite whoever you want. Your party will be recorded and archived for playback anytime you want. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. At the end of the month, the viewer that has the most people at their watch party will be invited on the TV show live. Come on, let's have a party.
These new rappers,
Yeah.
they need to start paying homage to what created and what made you want to be what you are today.
So let's switch over. Let's turbulence. I was there from kindergarten to 5th grade.
So you what year?
Being in prison changed your life.
Right.
You got to the book.
Because I didn't want to go back.
You didn't want to go back.
WHPR TV is now on Channel 90. Check out all of your favorite morning talk shows on Comcast Channel 90 every day from 7 a.m. to 12 noon, and watch us anytime, day or night, on all of your favorite devices. Download the WHPR TV Now app and take us with you wherever you go. WHPR TV is now on Comcast Channel 90 every day from 7 a.m. till noon. WHPR TV, a Watkins Broadcasting Company.
After receiving a delinquent property tax bill for the 2 lots connected to my home, I was concerned. I didn't even know that I had a past due bill. I went down to the Wayne County Treasurer's office, and the staff worked with me to keep my property out of foreclosure.
My property taxes became delinquent after I fell behind on my bills. Treasurer Sabri and his staff came to the town hall in my city and provided information about resources available to help me. At the meeting, I found out about payment plan options.
Let us help you. Our goal is 0 owner-occupied properties getting foreclosed and going to the auction. Come down to our office at 400 Monroe in downtown Detroit on the 5th floor. Call 313-224-5990 during our normal business hours from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and until 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays. Or email textinfo@waynecounty.com for assistance. Take the first step. Contact our office today.
It worked for us.
In the world of digital broadcasting, transmitters and exciters sometimes do this. If this happens when you're watching WHPR TV 33, please do this. Watch us on Fire Stick, Roku, Apple TV, Google TV, or TV33WHPR.com. Download the WHPR TV app, and we can also be heard on Amazon Echo. So remember, if you see this, you can do this and support the station that supports you.
These new rappers,
Yeah.
they need to start paying homage to what created and what made you want to be what you are today.
So let's switch over. Let's I was there from kindergarten to 5th grade.
So you what year?
Being in prison changed your life.
Right.
You got to the book.
Because I didn't want to go back.
You didn't want to go back.
Have you been in an accident? Have you been injured? auto, motorcycle, bicycle, pedestrian, truck, bus accident, slip and fall, dog bite, wrongful death, or police brutality, then you need professional help from Tri-County Lawyers. No fee unless we win. Tri-County Lawyers. Call 888-292-6908. That's 888-292-6908. Tri-County Lawyers. Call 888-292-6908.
All media platforms are engaged. Copy. Get ready to launch your show or product. Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that. Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV. WHPR TV is now on Channel 90. Check out all of your favorite morning talk shows on Comcast Channel 90 every day from 7 a.m. to 12 noon, and watch us anytime, day or night, on all of your favorite devices. Download the WHPR TV Now app and take us with you wherever you go. WHPR TV is now on Comcast Channel 90 every day from 7 a.m. till noon. WHPR TV, a Watkins Broadcasting Company. TV 33 is moving to WHPS TV Channel 15.2. Make sure to rescan the channels on your TV. Then go to WHPS Channel 15.2 to pick up TV 33 and all of your favorite shows. The move is on, and we want you to move with us to WHPS Channel 15.2.
Arrested, you have the right to remain silent. Everything you say can and will be held against you. Don't talk to the police. Talk to me first, Attorney Warren E. McAlpine from the Action Attorney Center. I know the law and I know your rights. Whether felony, misdemeanor, drug, OWI, domestic violence, or traffic violation, I can help you. Call today, Warren E. McAlpine, 1-888-292-6908.
Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. For only $99, you can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. On the web at tv33whpr.com. With the TV33 app. On Roku. Google TV, Apple TV, on Amazon Echo, and on Amazon Fire TV. Act now. Time slots are limited. Sign up today and get a free replay with the purchase of your time slot. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
I need to glow. I want to glow. Less of me and more of you is what I need. Show me your glory and show me your power. Less of me and more of you is what I need. I need your glory. I want your glory. Less of me, and more of you is what I need. Show me your glory. Show me your power. Less of me and more of you. What I need, yeah. So many rejecting the love in your warm embrace. But I realize I need you more and more each day. If there's a worshiper out there that'll join me, come on. Let him know that you're hungry for him, that you're longing for him, that you're thirsty for him. Oh, yeah. Well, lift your voice and say, I need, I can't live without. Lord, I need you.
WHPR TV is now on Channel 90. Check out all of your favorite morning talk shows on Comcast Channel 90 every day from 7 a.m. to 12 noon, and watch us anytime, day or night, on all of your favorite devices. Download the WHPR TV Now app and take us with you wherever you go. WHPR TV is now on Comcast Channel 90 every day from 7 a.m. till noon. WHPR TV, a Watkins Broadcasting Company. You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Wake up, Detroit. I'm Joanne Watson, and this is your wake-up call.
When a brown girl child is born, the earth shifts. The sun is at half-mast. The moon waits for her first cry. The ancestors set the table. The flowers turn red as blood. This is your land, continent daughter, with tree trunk legs and branches for arms. This is your soil, black and fertile as your eyes facing an apartheid Jim Crow current past memory. Some of us begin the removal of shackles at birth. We grow into the armor of struggle quickly. We brew courage in our tea, blend bravery into our Sunday dinners. Joanne Watson, you understand nation building is not a part-time job. This dedicated life is sometimes lonely, a vulnerable choice, but it is the only way you know how to operate. You are wired for the movement. In your black women bones, even when tired, still fighting, still organizing, still singing morning spirituals. You were born to lead. Even in your own family, the eldest of 10 children born to Jefferson and Lestine, you made Damon, Nefertari, Stephen.
Wake up, Detroit. I'm Joanne Watson. This is the day the Lord has made. We rejoice and we're glad in it. I don't know about you, but I can't let one day go by without praising his name. We praise God from whom all blessings flow. We know it is God who made us and not we ourselves. So what else is there to do in the morning time but to say good morning, Lord? We love you, Lord. We praise you, Lord. We honor you, Lord. We worship you and you alone, Lord. It is a good time and it's a good day to say good morning to our very good friend, Reverend Gregory Geis. He's a senior pastor of Detroit Unity Temple. He's also chairman of the board of the Unity Urban Ministerial Schools. He is having a very special program at his church in connection with the Honorable Councilman McAllister, and he's going to talk about that. And he's also going to introduce a young woman who is the leader of the census for Highland Park. Wake up, Detroit. Reverend Gregory Geis is here.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm so glad to be here on this wonderful, blessed day.
Bless your heart.
Thank you. I love how that intro introduced you, though. What a wonderful introduction, and told the truth about you. You truly are a dynamic woman on this wonderful day.
We do want to take a moment to mentioning dynamic and honor the passing of the Honorable Elijah Cummings, a great congressman from Baltimore, one we loved well.
And he will be missed.
He will certainly be missed. And we also want to honor the passing of Maxine Willis's mother, Edith Elizabeth McKinney. Her services will be held on this Saturday at the First Baptist Church of Woodland Park, Michigan, and Bitely, Michigan. We send our love and special condolences to our sister, Maxine Willis. We know that all of us are going to leave here at some point, but we do want to stop and pray and comfort those who are mourning. That's what the word says. Blessed are they who mourn, for they shall be comforted. We have a wonderful opportunity to connect with Reverend Gregory Geis and a call to action. Tell us all about it.
Well, first of all, I'd like to introduce the person to my left. Ms. Thomas, why don't you share something about yourself first before we begin?
Oh, good morning. I am Anistia Thomas. I am representing the Highland Park Census Community Count Committee here, and I'm just happy to be here for the Call to Action event. Does support the census for 2020.
And one of the things, Joanne, I want to say is that, as you know, as we move towards this 2020 election,
yes,
we feel it's very important right now that we no longer sit back and not do anything.
That's right.
So we're sending out what is being called a call to action.
That's right.
Because we can no longer sit back and do nothing. So we have to rally our community. We have to get ready to realize that Michigan is so pivotal and so important to this entire election. But we as a community, and very similar on the legacy of the gentleman, Elijah Cummings, who left, he was a man who was called to action.
That's right.
Our entire civil rights movement was a call to action.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So we stand on the shoulders of those individuals who really recognize that this is a call to action, not only now, but throughout our entire history as African Americans, and this legacy of the shoulders we stand on. So right now, more than ever before, this is a call to action. So
yes.
On next week, a week from today, we're having a call to action that will take place at Detroit Unity Temple, a call to action that's being sponsored by Councilman Roy McAllister and many others. So we're inviting several people to come out and be a part of that.
Now, give us the address. I know that most of us are very aware of Detroit Unity Temple, located very close to Palmer Park. But what's the actual address, Reverend?
17505 2nd Avenue in Detroit, Michigan. And anyone can be there. The time will take place from 5 to 6. We're going to have an informational sharing point, and then from 6 to 8, we're actually going to have a town hall meeting that will be very much a part of that call to action. And
it is a call to action because the census is critically important to not only having documentation for the actual number of people who are here, but also relates to funding.
Absolutely. And as Ms. Thomas would tell you about the census. Right now, Ms. Thomas, why don't you share something about how important the census is going to be this year?
Well, frankly, Detroit stands to receive over $1.2 billion per year if each and every person does partake in the census from Detroit itself. And as far as Highland Park, we stand to receive over $18 million per year as well. So you're looking at over $180 million over 10 years for Highland Park. And that's important because when you're looking at a median for even Detroit, the income is over average median is $27,000. So when you're looking at that, the census supports many strong programs that really support for public assistance, including Medicaid, SNAP programs, child development, our infrastructure for roads, even for our energy. So therefore, Highland Park, for instance, needs hospitals, public assistance, and medical care. The census helps to support that more specifically. The things that the city really needs can definitely be resolved through the census.
And census money is, one census counts are part of what is determined for revenue sharing.
It is, and each resident counts for $1,800 per person, and making sure that everyone is counted inside of the household all the way to even an infant can count. So making sure that your children are counted, making sure the homeless are counted, making sure those who are second chance citizens are counted is very important.
And Reverend Geis, I know you want to make sure people even want to make sure that the cousin who may be living in the basement is counted.
Absolutely. Or in the attic. You know, sometimes we are fearful of the census, but we can't be fearful because we have to be counted. And in this rally, a call to action, we're going to try to allow people to know, because we're going to have a time period for information to be there, because our census individuals, you'll be there. We'll have tables downstairs in our fellowship area that will have individuals who can actually sign up for the census and be registered for the census. But we want to make sure that each and every person can utilize that time period, not only to ask questions, but to find out more about why it's important to be counted.
Yes.
Because if you're not counted, nothing can be done. We can't avoid wasting. It's like your vote.
That's right.
You have to vote.
That's right.
I think our community needs to be more educated and aware as to what the census really is and how it really impacts our community more specifically. Honestly, the White House, they really don't want us to fill out the census because they don't want to cut that check, that big check, more specifically. And I think there are a lot of barriers that prevent us from actually filling out the census and then really realizing, because oftentimes we're categorized as the census police.
Well, the current White House is deranged and demented, so help me, Holy Ghost.
And one of the things that our community needs to understand is that the information that we do give to the census actually stays sealed for over 70 years. So I know that there are people who are worried about child support cases, or if they're immigrants, and or if they're transitional households and they don't really want people to know where they really live. Specifically, the census does conceal your information.
That's something I think a lot of people didn't know. I didn't know it stayed sealed for 70 years.
It does.
And that's very important to know, because too often we are fearful that that information will be utilized against us,
right,
or given out to other people. So we stay locked up in our rooms, or we're afraid to come out. But knowing that, it's time that we step up and start taking charge of our own community. And the only way we can do that is by being counted and being acknowledged that we're here. This is part of our development, and it's part of our growth, and too many people have died for us to get here right now. So this is a call to action for us to step out, come out, and be accountable so we can take charge of our own community. And it begins by being counted.
I remember years ago when the Honorable Coleman Alexander Young actually found money to pay for persons to add to the count, because he saw the initial figures that came back from Detroit when he was mayor. He believed it was an undercount, and he was right. The people he sent out to find people under bridges and who may have been homeless, who may have been outside of the normal paradigm of homes and apartment houses, they were able to add thousands of people to the count and then add millions of dollars to the revenue.
And that's exactly the point of having pioneers such as Coleman Young, who paved the way and importance of the census, and Reverend Joanne Watson, and also Pastor Geis, who actually was my elementary school counselor.
I love it.
So as for someone to pour into me as a young person, and then me being able to give back to the community is really important. But I think it's really important for us to start engaging more of our millennials and youth into the proactive work that we're doing in the community, because they are our future. And we have to make sure that we have them at the table as well in regard to our community action.
And the Reverend Guy said another part of his life, he worked for the cousin of the Honorable Coleman Alexander Young, the Dr. Claude Young, who was also one of my mentors. And,
yes.
Claude Young was busy
He was
telling,
my neighbor.
My.
It's a small world.
I tell you.
And
Dr.
people
Claude
don't realize the blessing that Dr. Claude Young extended to so many individuals.
That's true.
Because he was a total dedicated to the city of Detroit.
He was a physician, but he was also a part-time comic. He was
you can say that
a civil rights advocate. He once, back when I was the director of the NAACP, Dr. Young called me. He was a leader of the SCLC at that for many years, Michigan SCLC, and he assumed the position that Reverend Dr. C.L. Franklin held on the SCLC National Board. And when after Dr. Franklin no longer holds a seat, Claude Young ascended to the post back when he was a member of New Bethel Baptist Church. But Claude Young called me one day and he said, "I'm sending you down to Selma because they arresting some people claiming they're doing voting fraud, and all they were doing is passing out absentee ballots. And so I just want you to get ready and pack your bags and go down there this week." And I said, "Well, Dr. Young, you're in charge of the SCLC. I'm working with the NAACP. It don't matter, girl. I already got your ticket."
You know, that's beautiful.
That really happened now. So I went to Selma.
But think about it. That's that's the thing behind a call to action, because he recognized that we all are pulled by that idea. We're called into action to make a difference in our community. Dr. King was called to
That's
action.
Right.
You know, Dr. Claude Young was called to action.
That's right.
Mary
Reverend
Young was called
That's
to
right.
action.
Reverend Dr. C.T. Vivian, who turned 95 this year. I was blessed to be in Atlanta to see him. A whole lot of folks wrapped themselves up in Dr. King, but Reverend Dr. C.T. Vivian really was his lieutenant, SCLC, and he went ahead of Dr. King like John the Baptist and organized. And so he got the hot dogs and the hoses before anybody else. A brilliant man. And just this past week, he attended the 98th birthday party for Reverend Joseph Lowry down in Atlanta.
Praise
so,
God.
They were being wheeled around, he and Hank Aaron and Joe Lowry and C.T. Vivian. And they tell me that C.T. was on his way out of the event. And then Mary J. Blige started singing, and C.T. said, no, I want to see Mary J. Blige. I said, how does somebody 95 years old know who Mary J. Blige is?
But people should never forget about Joseph Lowry.
That's right.
Because he's one of those legacy members.
That's right.
People don't realize he was holding the flag and the banner for
Show
years.
enough.
And
what a great man.
We can't forget those individuals who are the pillars of the civil rights movement, took on the banner of a call to action.
You better say it. You better say
because,
that.
you know, you and myself remember when we went down to New Orleans for the SCLC, and I was telling to a young person about the 1972 National Political Convention held in Gary, Indiana.
That's right.
And a lot of people forgot we had once a National Black Political
We can't
Convention
forget.
in Gary, Indiana.
Can't forget.
And how long ago it was to some people, but it was just a blink of an eye for those of us who remember.
That's right.
And here we are now trying to pull together those thoughts and ideas that we cannot stop trying and working to develop and realize it's time right now to begin to organize, because this call to action is about this upcoming election more than ever before.
That's right.
It is truly important. So this call to action, we put together a panel of individuals who's going to be from Reverend Leslie Love, Hester Wheeler, Detroit census person Vicki Kovar, myself, and Janice Winfrey, who's going to be talking about issues. It's going to be moderated by ML Eric and Carol Weaver, who's a part of the Detroit Unity Temple. But the whole idea is to bring out individuals to come to this event and talk about what's going to take place. But the bottom line is, we don't want to just be a time period event. We're going to have a room that's going to say, what can you do from this moment? And let people go in and sign up to be a part of different action-oriented directives. Can you sign up to bring someone to make sure they get to the polls? Can you sign up to be a part of an organization? Are you willing to work with the NAACP? We want to stimulate your ability and your inspiration to be a part of a call to action in different areas. Are you willing to work with the Census Bureau? Are you willing to help a child understand the importance of voting? And then we're going to have a second event in February right before the Michigan primary.
Interesting. Now, the action, the call to action, you will be urging people to own the process of being a part of the census and not waiting to see what somebody else is going to do.
Right.
How are you going to help them do that?
Well, first, to piggyback off of that, I think at this point we all recognize what the problems really are in the community. But now it's time for us to actually be proactive in making sure we're having solution-based activities and events, and this is it. One of the ways that we're doing is that we're having a series of events for the next year, all the way to the end of the census activity campaign, which is all the way through August of 2020. So we're doing door-to-door canvassing. We're making sure that the community has access to the internet. Since this community itself, 60% do not have access to internet. So through that canvassing with joint partners, we are providing actual access to the internet and Wi-Fi and going door to door and allowing them to utilize tablets in regards to being able to fill out the census themselves or access it more specifically to help support the enumerators. The enumerators will be going door to door. They've already started the address verification within the communities already. But even so, making sure that we're having a youth rally, which we are doing, making sure that we have subcommittees that are specifically targeted industries, including our faith-based organizations as well as our business organizations, making sure that we engage our youth in education and the parents within the community to make sure that they're well informed. We have a task force team in each and every committee in regards to who represents the community to get them more engaged. We've also included our Block Club Association leaders who will be making sure that they are greeting each and every one of their neighbors within their block club, getting their information, making sure they're keeping them engaged. We also have ambassadors who are actually representing and making sure that those block clubs are enumerated, making sure that those numbers come back to increase, because as of 2010, I can speak for at least Highland Park specifically, only 1,200 people filled out the census in comparison. And that also included Detroit, since we share a zip code more specifically. So that would mean that the enumeration was a little lower. So we stand to make sure that we're trying to make sure that we increase that number more specifically and bringing federal funding to the community. We're making sure that we're bringing in as many resources as possible to help support Highland Park, helping to support Detroit and the things that we're doing. Vicki Kovari is doing an excellent job within Detroit, making sure that she is within the community, making sure that she's aware, making sure that everyone's working together to organize. That's what's really important here, is to make sure that all of us are working together to organize, because we need each other. We need all boots on the ground for this grassroots effort.
Well said. Is there a phone number or an email address you would ask the public to connect with?
If someone would like to connect with me specifically, they can connect with me at highlandparkcensus2020@gmail.com. We have a phone number, which is 313-307-6618. Once again, 313-307-6618. We also, what I want to make sure that I can plug in really quickly is jobs. So since we are hiring, you can go to www.2020census.gov/jobs and apply all the way through December 31st. The census jobs are paying starting at least $15 to $19 per hour. In regards to that. So we need to make sure that we get our communities involved in applying.
Excellent.
I'll say you did a good job.
Excellent.
That's the call of action we're talking about.
Yes, yes. And certainly I'm interested in also whether or not the census has allocated resources for promotion and marketing, PR? Are there dollars slotted for radio, TV, newspapers, magazines, even
Excellent
church
question.
bulletins?
Excellent question. So that is
Excellent.
something that we're looking to get information from. We would love for someone to contact us because we do have a community partner who received a grant that specifically gives dollars for advertising. And we're really trying to find those who are of color that have press or advertisement venues, vehicles
Well, you're
for
talking
us to
on
go
one
to.
right now.
I'm talking on one right now, which is one of the reasons why I'm here too, which is why I love Reverend Dr. Joanne Watson. More specifically is because we have to support our black media
Yes.
within our communities because they support us. They make sure that
That's right.
the information is actually given and actually the truth and what's really coming out into our communities. We have to make sure we support that and continue to make sure that we have those types of medians that will remain within our community to make sure that the messages really get to the people to make sure that we're well informed.
And how can faith-based organizations be involved and receive certain benefits as well?
They can actually join our faith-based subcommittee that we have within our count committee. More specifically, and they can make sure that they contact me. Again, my email is highlandparkcensus2020@gmail.com.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back right after this. Wake up, Detroit.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Thank you.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Wake up, Detroit. I'm Joanne Watson, and this is your wake-up call.
WHPR TV and Radio sends its condolences to our longtime friend, Maxine Willis, and her family in the passing of Edith Elizabeth McKinney. Services will be held Saturday, October 19th at First Baptist Church of Woodland Park, Michigan, 9028 23rd Avenue, Bitely, Michigan. Please send cards and expressions of love to 8945 23rd Avenue, Bitely, Michigan, 49309. WHPR TV is now on Channel 90. Check out all of your favorite morning talk shows on Comcast Channel 90 every day from 7 a.m. to 12 noon, and watch us anytime, day or night, on all of your favorite devices. Download the WHPR TV Now app and take us with you wherever you go. WHPR TV is now on Comcast Channel 90 every day from 7 a.m. till noon. WHPR TV, a Watkins Broadcasting Company.
After receiving a delinquent property tax bill for the 2 lots connected to my home, I was concerned. I didn't even know that I had a past due bill. I went down to the Wayne County Treasurer's office, and the staff worked with me to keep my property out of foreclosure.
My property taxes became delinquent after I fell behind on my bills. Treasurer Sabri and his staff came to the town hall in my city and provided information about resources available to help me. At the meeting, I found out about payment plan options.
Let us help you. Our goal is 0 owner-occupied properties getting foreclosed and going to the auction. Come down to our office at 400 Monroe in downtown Detroit on the 5th floor. Call 313-224-5990 during our normal business hours from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and until 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays. Or email textinfo@waynecounty.com for assistance. Take the first step. Contact our office today.
It worked for us.
Wake up, Detroit. I'm Joanne Watson, and this is your wake-up call.
When a brown girl child is born, the earth shifts. The sun is at half-mast. The moon waits for her first cry. The ancestors set the table. The flowers turn red as blood. This is your land, continent.
Wake up, Detroit. I'm Joanne Watson. This is the day the Lord has made. We rejoice, hallelujah, and we're glad in it as we continue to talk about a call to action. We're certainly so happy that our wonderful friend and great leader of Detroit Unity Temple, Reverend Dr. Gregory Geis, is in the house, and he's been joined by Andre Otis.
Andre Otis.
Andre.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you, A-N-D-R-E?
E-Y-A-N-D-R-A.
Say it again.
E-Y-A-N-D-R-A.
Okay.
But I tell people usually it's a little joke I have. You can say N-J, you can say Andre.
All right now.
So.
Andre.
Yes, sir.
Andre Otis.
One of the things that you do, among other activities, is represent Councilmember McAllister, who's a co-sponsor of this call to action. And tell us what this call to action means to you.
Well, I mean, the call to action means to me actually getting people involved. As you know, last year we voted to get absentee voters, the whole process of that put on the ballot, showing up on the election day and being able to register to vote. You know, that's real important to me because, you know, you have a lot of people that were up under the stigma that I don't want to vote because it's long lines, or somebody told me I can't vote because I was in jail. Well, none of that's true anymore. So you can look at currently right now who we have sitting in Washington, D.C. That's that guy's got to go. And I mean, there's no way, ifs, ands, or buts about it. So that's why this is more important to me than anything, because he doesn't represent anything that I believe a president should be.
That's right.
The guy is doing whatever he wants to with our Constitution, is pretty much wiping himself with it. And the fact that, I mean, I have to say it, rest in peace to Elijah Cummings. He hasn't said anything about it right now, but he's already started with his nonsense with his tweets. So that just goes to show you what kind of people we have as representation. What does that really say for America? What does that say about us really going forward as a positive future? You can't tell me that we can, because if that's what's sitting there now, what's next?
Well, this is the 400th year since Africans were brought here, kidnapped and enslaved, tortured and oppressed. And one of the reasons we need to hold accountability with the census and revenue sharing is because the state of Michigan owes the city of Detroit revenue sharing right now that it has refused to pay. People who supported this current governor, and everybody who's in a state position, they need to demand that the state put up.
Wasn't that over $200 million at some point?
I used to talk about that every day at the council table.
That's what I
Absolutely.
thought. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. But it's more than that now.
I'm sure
because
it is.
the Michigan Municipal League, which is the local satellite of the National League of Cities, they have uncovered much more than that is to $137 million. 731 when you add all for the last decade. $731 million of unpaid revenues. That's $731 million. Owed on paper to the city of Detroit, and the state of Michigan has just refused to pay it. Now, it just refused to pay it, you know? So that's on my list.
Yes, ma'am.
That's on my list.
You know, but see,
along with the $180 million that is still owed to the city from the Illich family for Joe Louis Arena that they didn't completely pay for. That was paid for by the Honorable Coleman Alexander Young, whom I loved and respected.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
they still owe.
It's things like that that just, as a young man raising children now, that watch my mother going to vote every year, drag me whether I wanted to go or not. She said, boy, you're going to stand in this line, me and my daughter, whether it was rain, cold, hot, we were there. I just don't understand why that hasn't become a practice that's been passed down. I looked at it as sometimes fun, because, I mean, I like the conversations that was out there. You know, to see all these black people showing up to do something I didn't really understand.
Well, black people certainly got President Barack Obama.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, it was 97% of black folks who voted put him in there.
And if they remember our history from going into the South and registering blacks to vote through Mississippi and Alabama, putting their lives on the line to just be able to have the ability to vote, that was a call to action back then that we have nothing like that preventing us now. But can I ask, you work with millennials.
Yes, sir.
And when you work with young individuals such as yourself, what are their thoughts about the need to be called into action today about getting going forward to vote or taking action or seeing their future involved in the whole political process?
Well, again, I do work with millennials a lot, and a lot of the thing is a lot of people are just upset, frustrated. They don't believe in voting for some odd reason, but like I've been telling them, I mean, when you wake up, the first thing that you wake up by is God. But the second thing is you right into politics. Because when you go check in at work, I mean, that's politics, what you get paid. The time you can leave, how you get pulled over, the restrictions they have on laws, everything that we do is all politics. And I try to express that in, I mean, the realest way I can. I can't really get too real here, but I like to speak truth.
You know, the last presidential election, 2016, I happened to, the Friday before that Tuesday election, I was teaching an English class at Wayne County Community College. And it so happened that the Friday before that Tuesday, Hillary Clinton was in town speaking at Eastern Market. So I told my English students, I said, listen, if you all want to go down to Eastern Market and hear Hillary and then write an English paper on it, who, what, when, where, why, and how, that'll give you credit, you know, and you can have some information because the federal election is next Tuesday.
Yes, ma'am.
I had students of African descent, students from the Middle East, students from who were from Germany, students from who were returning citizens, couple from the military. Not one of them wanted to go here. They said, we don't like Hillary. We hate Trump, but we don't like him. And we're going to stay with you, Miss Watson. So I had a kind of a foreshadowing. That was Friday before the Tuesday election.
That the count was going to be low.
Yeah, but that our people, because, you know, this was in Detroit. And my students who I told, if you go write a paper on it, I'll give you credit for it. No, we're going to stay with you, Miss Watson. Not one wanted to go.
You know what, I kind of tell them sometimes, if we don't start getting prepared now, there's going to be people that don't look like us telling us what to do. And if that's the kind of future that you want, let's keep playing the game that we're doing. Other than that, it's time to step up. Again, as I said, Elijah Cummings just passed. So with that being said, what does Baltimore, that area, look like beyond him?
My Lord.
You know, so...
My Lord.
So it is a call to action.
Very much so.
And somehow, as you brought up about your class, if you can't break that veil that blocks you from understanding that your actions today is going to be your response for tomorrow or impact your future, whatever you do today is going to be a result for tomorrow. As we would say, as you know, thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. We have to truly begin to realize that every step you take leads to some direction or no direction at all.
Well, of course, you know, I didn't let it go. I said Wayne County Community College District exists because of politics. I knew some of the black men who helped lay out the blueprint for this college on their kitchen table.
Absolutely.
It didn't just appear, was not handed down from anybody else. We created this. This was created by our people, for our people, by our people in Detroit. And it had to be voted on. There are ballot provisions that help to fund it. It had to be created as an entity that was approved by the legislature and signed by the governor. So you're sitting in a political instrument right now. You are not oblivious to politics. Now, so, you know, of course, they got a speech from me after that, and some things changed after that. They didn't want to hear another speach from me on that.
So you did your part. They didn't go down to here, but they heard you that day. You know, I really like to say that on the panel, as you know, Hester Wheeler is going to be bringing some wonderful information.
Yes.
And Vicki Kovar is going to be bringing some wonderful information.
And Hester Wheeler, of course, is a former director of the NAACP, Detroit branch, and current Assistant Secretary of State.
Yes. And so we do want your audience to come that day to the call of action, which is going to be October the 24th. And
what time again, Reverend Geis?
There's going to be an information table downstairs in our fellowship area from 5 to 6. And we have several groups coming to bring information from Focus Hope, from the Census Bureau, from
DTE, Wayne County Treasurer is coming. I got a few resource companies coming out that might be able to help people with bills. So, I mean,
excellent.
We trying to do it the right way.
Excellent.
So they can arrive early, get information that's going to be directed towards their health and their well-being, and then come upstairs at 6. I'm going to start on time for a forum with 2 moderators, and they're going to be taking your questions, and then we're going to present it to a panel so we can have information that will help benefit you towards this call of action. And the exciting part is we don't want to just get you excited and leave you in this air or this cloud. We want you to leave from this forum, this town hall, and move towards action. Too many times we have a town hall meeting and people go out and say, it was great.
They get hyped for a moment.
For a moment.
And then it dissipates.
Right. We want to direct you towards where there's action taking place. Become a part of an organization. Join the NAACP. Be a part of your church community, but be involved towards going somewhere that's going to impact our community, because this is just one step towards what has to take place towards a change for 2020.
Go ahead, Reverend Guys. And the young people, one of your target areas is helping millennials, young people get engaged.
Yes, ma'am.
What are you doing to help them, maybe through social media or through hip hop?
It's funny you say that. In my former life, that's what I did. I did a lot of promotions. I did flyer work, which is my little dandy work here. I was in the underground hip hop scene, so a lot of those people I still know, and those are, still people I associate with. And I mean, all the time I let them know, we can do this different. I mean, voting doesn't show up with a face. You can do you. Just get it done, especially now that you can vote from home. I mean, I believe a guy named, well, I'm sure you know who Al Williams is. Mm-hmm. He brought up something I never really thought about. Let's do some absentee voter parties. Everybody bring those ballots, we get together, fill them out. Don't do it wrong and everybody say we all gonna do it for the same person. Vote your way, but let's get together and have fun and do it. Because, I mean, those are the things that can actually change the way voting looks. I want to see voting change because, I mean, one day I plan on being elected.
Excellent.
So my values, my opinions, my thoughts, I want them to align with everybody. I want to be a people person. We don't have people out here. We have people that are in these seats for personal agenda. Personal agenda is what has these schools not teaching these children right. Personal agenda has our neighborhoods looking the way they do, but downtown is just so thriving. But
the reason the schools are in decline is because some low-down white supremacists
took
over the Detroit public schools
Personal agendas.
when they did not need to be taken over. There was a $93 million surplus.
Right.
On the day the schools were taken over by the state. Detroit schools were taken over because they could, and they wanted to control. Actually, the school system has been going down under so-called emergency managers.
Well, we remember when there was 150 and 180,000 children in our school system.
Right.
And now they have 50,000.
That's right.
You know what has thrown me off? When I was growing up, we had a thing called student council.
Right.
A lot of these kids don't even know what that is anymore. And it's like, you mean to tell me you really don't find out what voting is until you're 18? You don't even know what it's like to vote appear in?
We used to have mock votes in '63 when President Kennedy was elected, before he was elected.
The students
They had
voted.
mock votes in elementary school.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
remember voting for
Yes, ma'am.
as an elementary school student.
Because I won some of those
President Kennedy.
elections.
Yeah.
Don't know how, but I won them. And I mean, it's just like,
And
with me having
Reverend
children.
Wendell Anthony, who's the current president of the Detroit NAACP, when we were at Central High School in Detroit,
Go ahead and tell the
he
truth.
was the president of the student council. You just mentioned student council.
Yes, ma'am.
But see, if that process is being taken away or not taught at that lower level, middle school, high school, how will you know or understand the process as a young adult?
Exactly.
See, the youth has always been the fuel and the fire behind every call of action through our political history.
You better say that's of President Mandela, because the young people took to the streets. SNCC, the young people in America took to the streets.
So this
for
call of
civil rights.
action, where your generation has to understand, you are the fuel that lifts up the consciousness of our community.
That's right.
When we talk about the Me Too movement, your generation has to be the energy that moves the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
And when your generation are diffused or not in touch with the importance or the value of it, the vehicle doesn't have the energy to push it.
Yes, sir.
And that's why we have to make sure you carry this thought,
That's right.
carry this call of action to them with the same vigor and vigorance and energy and thrust. Because, see, the ones who carried it before, the John Lewis,
My Lord.
the Brother Cummings,
Yes, sir.
they're now moving into that next phase of their generation. You can't expect them to carry the weight. Jesse Jackson, all of them, you know.
Yes, sir.
Who's next to pick up that pillar?
That's right.
And that's
that baton.
That's what I'm plugging away at, because I mean, we have to be next again, or like I said,
that's right.
There will be a generation of us being led by people that don't look like us, and I'm scared to see what that looks like.
Well, see, it's not going to happen with this call to action.
Yes, sir.
Because every generation are pulled by the energy around them and the necessity, because the God within us will always lift up a generation to meet the challenge that's in front of them.
Yes, sir.
And it has never failed, because God is always
You
here.
better say it.
And so what you have to realize is the power has always been within you. So what has to happen, it has to be an awakening to those individuals within themselves, and realize that within you is already the gift and the key.
Yes, sir.
So it can never be taken away from you. You just have to be inspired by such actions, because we already have what is already needed.
Say so.
And just be awakened to that that's already there. You and Ms. Thomas and others, there's already individuals ready to take on this particular foundation to lift up this mantle.
Well said, Reverend Gregory Geis. I'm going to ask Brother Otis to give us your final comments on the call to action and on the general movement and the impact on millennials, period.
Thank you. The call to action, please, if you can, millennials, younger, I don't care what you are, please come out. It's very important that we start getting involved. Just look around where you are. If you're dissatisfied with your conditions, this is for you. If you're dissatisfied with other people's conditions, this is for you. If you're just upset, period, guess what? This is for you. You need to come out and find out what you can be involved in. Everything happens because of involvement. If we don't get involved, I'm sorry, it's not going to go good for us at all. And I don't want to see that. I have children. A lot of us have children. Our future has to be way brighter than what it is.
That's
and
right.
I believe it can be,
That's
but it
right.
starts with us. I mean, I can't sit and harp on somebody older than me to keep doing something when, wait a minute, I'm old enough to do it myself.
All right now.
So you have to start stepping up and getting things done. And I mean, it starts with our hearts, our own minds. It doesn't take anybody to tell us what to do. Just do something positive.
All right.
It starts all positive.
Well said. And Reverend Gregory Geis, your last words, please.
First of all, I'd like to thank Councilman Roy McAllister. I'd like to thank all those panelists who have agreed to be a part of it, Representative Leslie Love, Hester Wheeler, Vicky Kovar, and Janice Winfrey, our moderators. I'd like to thank those who are part of this panel committee, because all of you have already heard the call to action. I'd like to thank you, Ms. Reverend Dr. Joanne Watson, my spiritual sister, and to those of you who are watching and listening to this program, thank you, because truly we know God has already inspired you to be a part of this call to action, because we know we are the ones that God have already sent to make this happen.
We're so proud of both of you for
Thank
what you're doing on this magnificent effort, and we ask everyone to keep all these issues in mind, because we are in a position to be self-determined and empowered and not victims. We are not victims.
Yes, ma'am.
We have the power to do what is necessary for our community. And we're going to close with our benediction in unity. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen.
Amen.
Wake up, Detroit. Wake up, Detroit. I'm Joanne Watson, and this is your wake-up call.
When a brown girl child is born, the earth shifts. The sun is at half-mast. The moon waits for her first cry. The ancestors set the table. The flowers turn red as blood. This is your land, continent daughter, with tree trunk legs and branches for arms. This is your soil.